Silence on the set. Dear Americans, greetings. I am Mario Medina, university professor and one of the spokespersons for the Puerto Rican Action Movement, El MAP in Spanish. We want to share with the people of the United States what we believe is a historic and unique response on behalf of Puerto Ricans who seek to end the colonial and anti-democratic relationship that exists between the United States and the island of Puerto Rico. This response comes in the formation of a nonpartisan political movement that seeks to transcend the island's local and colonial political debate and respond to the United States government's apathy regarding our colonial reality. We seek to provide the people of our nation a vision of tomorrow that breaks away from decades of governmental proposals that are nothing but temporary patches. The result of those patches are an unattainable economic situation entrenched within a lingering colonial reality in which we find ourselves today. While we seek to address the situation in Puerto Rico, it's important that the other side of this issue, the government and the citizens of the United States, address it as well. Hence, our intention is to share with you this reality, and in doing so, bring to your attention this real political problem and ask you for your participation in solving it. Although Puerto Rico is a Latin American and Caribbean nation, it is legally a non-incorporated territory of the United States of America. In other words, a colony in the most classic sense. Puerto Rico became such a colony by an act of war. Because of its defeat in the Hispanic-American War, Spain yielded Puerto Rico's sovereignty to the United States through the Treaty of Paris, signed on December 10th, 1898. From that moment on, until this day, the United States has been our owner. Today, an entire archipelago of Puerto Rican citizens live under the consequences of a 19th century imperial war agreement. The falsely proclaimed American dream in Puerto Rico has expired, has died out, and has shown to be a fraud. La Isla del Encanto in Janet Island, historically branded as an economical miracle, America's democracy window to the world, has been reduced to a territory victim of disaster capitalism and venture capitalists who have bankrupted Puerto Rico with the aid of populist local governments. Sunken in forgetfulness and irrelevance, Puerto Rico has taken a course of becoming an insignificant barren island in the Caribbean, deliberately isolated from the world due to our political situation. It is becoming increasingly difficult to be a Puerto Rican in Puerto Rico. There is no doubt that the main responsibility for this Puerto Rican colonial bankruptcy lies within the government of the United States, which has subdued Puerto Rico into a political and economic relation that is immoral, unfair, anti-democratic, and discriminatory, and which prevents Puerto Rico from recovering. Colonies will never be democratic. There could be endless electoral processes in a colony, but there will never be a democracy until the colonizing nation ceases to impose its laws on the colonized people without their consent. Puerto Rico is governed by the United States, who in turn imposes colonial laws approved by officials who are not elected by Puerto Ricans. This reality breaks any democratic principles. The most recent imposition has been the Oversight Fiscal Board, created by the United States Congress through a blatantly anti-democratic law known as promesa. You must agree that colonialism is illegal, immoral, anti-democratic, and anti-American. Colonialism must end in Puerto Rico now, not only because it's the right thing to do, but such decolonizing Puerto Rico is the American way of doing things. How can colonialism end in Puerto Rico? First, the decolonization and sovereignty of Puerto Rico must be negotiated. The United States President would instruct the U.S. State Department to initiate negotiation processes on Puerto Rico. Once negotiated, the U.S. Senate would ratify the agreement, and the people of Puerto Rico would do the same by means of a referendum. Subsequently, the people of Puerto Rico would proceed to elect members to a constituent assembly. This assembly would propose and present the Constitution of the sovereign nation of Puerto Rico. The people of Puerto Rico would then vote to ratify the proposed Constitution. It is then that Puerto Rico would be declared sovereign. Provisional government would be responsible for organizing the first democratic elections under this new Constitution. Second, support our movement. Learn more about colonialism in Puerto Rico. Write to the president, your congressperson. Talk about it to your friends and family. And most important, do not forget Puerto Rico. Puerto Ricans and Americans have shared a common history for more than 100 years. It is time then to make our relationship truly democratic and therefore better. It is time to make it work and put an end to the shameful colonial situation in which we find ourselves. Let's do it. Puerto Rican and Americans working together as brothers, sisters, allies, and equals for a better world and a better Puerto Rico. Let's do it now. Thank you for your attention.